Alrighty, we are live. We are back. It's not a Monday. Instead, it's Wednesday as things kind of came down. Monday, Gina was a little, at least, under the weather, so took care of her. Bryson, and again, Tuesday kind of worked out where we tried to move it to Tuesday, but both of us kind of got a little busy. So I was busy editing at least the vlog for the vlog channel that me and Gina do. We're getting into Friday Night SmackDown from LA. So again, I'm a little behind at least times on our vlog. So I was at least had a chance to edit that. But here we are, Wednesday night. We're back here, twitch.tv/ProMan56. Also, too, over on my Twitter account at ProMan56MP. Go follow me on that side. Go follow Bryson as well, too, as you see, over to my, at least, let's see, as I inverse the cam to my, at least, left, at Bryson Lee 84. Go follow him as well, too, for some of his sports takes, which, again, were, at least, I think you didn't have a whole lot to say this past weekend. Granted, there wasn't much to say outside, especially in the Mile High City, but again, at least a couple games happened Thursday and Friday night, but we'll get into that. As per usual here, again, we ask people to at least follow me on the Twitch side. Again, twitch.tv/ProMan56. Again, please do. It's completely free, helps me out, and lets you know when I do go live on here. Again, follow us on the various social medias. Also, too, if you are in chat, feel free to say hi and hello, and again, your takes on any sports topic that we bring up today, or anything you'd like to hear from us as well. So, with that being said, we'll start at least on Thursday Night Football, where, again, for this past week, there isn't much to say. Didn't expect a whole lot out of the Broncos when, again, taking on Kansas City. Kansas City's not the powerhouse juggernaut as, as it kind of seemed in years past. I mean, they're still winning, but, for you, Bryson, I guess give some credit to the Broncos. At least they weren't blown out. It was close-ish, but you kind of figured that Kansas City was going to win it no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, nobody expected them to win the game. Like I said, Kansas City has not been looking good, uh, especially on their defense. Kind of a rough series of games all weekend, honestly, since Thursday all the way through Monday night. If you ask me, a lot of people were falling asleep. Sure, the ratings weren't weren't as good as they could have been. But yeah, 19-8 game. Kansas City scored in every quarter. The Broncos got shut out until the fourth quarter, so no shock there. But yeah, it just seems like this Denver team can't find a rhythm. They can't hold it together. Russ is good for about 1 to 2 turnovers just on his own, whether it be fumbling or throwing interceptions. It's not looking like a multi-million-dollar deal came out to fruition with the Russ Wilson.
No, and again, looking at the stats as I got to pull it up on the at least visual side on Twitch and both Twitter. But again, for Russell Wilson, looking at what he at least kind of mustered up so far in that Thursday night game, again, 13 of 22, 95 yards, 1 TD, 2 INTs, took a couple sacks. So again, your offensive line still at least not showing up. QBR of 9.8, so that gives you at least understanding. Russell Wilson, again, when y'all signed him up from Seattle, again, he was off injured. He wasn't the same where he was getting that team to the Super Bowls and essentially winning one with Seattle. But I think it's good to hear you as at least a member of Broncos Nation that, again, so many others got to kind of get back to reality that Russell Wilson, again, really isn't that guy. He is not the same guy, and I don't see, again, I feel like if you plug Russell Wilson into, again, for like the 49ers offensive scheme, you put him with Kyle Shanahan, you give him all those weapons, give him that line, I think he still struggles in that system. I just think Russell Wilson is kind of a shell of himself, but that's just me. Broncos, as I mentioned again, it's not all on Russell Wilson. It's, again, offensive line, allowing the 4 sacks. Denver, it just seems like right now for the Broncos, you pretty much just write this season off at this point in time and just kind of look towards what do we need to do in the offseason, what do we need to do in the draft.
Yeah, and you got to take a look too. A lot of times when Russ is going to throw the ball and he's like in the pocket, how many times are those balls getting batted down? If he's not scrambling left or right, I mean, the guy's just he's not a tall quarterback. He's not as fast as he used to be. I've noticed that a lot more, like, on these crucial downs where we need to get a first down. And this is stuff we can't see downfield. A lot of times it's looking like the wide receivers aren't even getting open. The numbers just aren't there if you look at the stat sheet. But me just evaluating the game in total, a lot of these balls are getting batted down. So that to me is play calling. The play calling just really hasn't been there with Sean Payton, to be honest with you. Um, we ran the ball a little more against the Chiefs. I mean, we're looking at Javonte Williams still averaging, what he had 10 carries and 52 yards, so 5.2 a carry. Hey, in this league, you take that all day, every day. We got to run the ball more. We had 23 total carries as a team. I mean, you got to give your head horse that amount of carries, just that, right? Um,
Yeah,
the play calling has just been atrocious on both sides of the ball. Our defense, I got to give a shout out to Vance Joseph. I've been hard on him lately, but hey, man, he got his guys together. I mean, you held the Chiefs to 19 points. I mean, not a lot of teams are doing that. I believe the Chiefs are probably averaging well over 20 points on season. I mean, kudos to Vance and putting together a game plan at least to contain them. Pat Mahomes only had one touchdown pass. He usually has three, four.
yeah.
You know, so we
It's
just got to keep running the ball.
as I say, something for Kansas City though. Again, they're 5-1 right now, but they're not a intimidating 5-1 team. Like again, of all the 5-1s right now, or at least top dogs, whether it's NFC or AFC, Kansas City seems like they got a lot of flaws, and I don't think they're the best team right now in the AFC. Obviously, again,
No,
we'll give them time. Again, I think they're at a point where they can kind of cruise right now to get to the playoffs. But it seems like they are not that Super Bowl bound team that everyone wants to put them into. Especially where now we're seeing Cincinnati get hot again. Buffalo is what Buffalo is. Um, like I said, Thursday night games also too. How much do you read into this? Where again, Kansas City, you knew you were expecting to beat Denver, you did. Thursday night games always seem to be just wacky, close games for some odd reason. Obviously, or I would assume from the quick turnaround on practice, at least limited practice time. But you know, like I said, was there anything shocking from this Thursday night game? Not really. I think the only shocking thing would be if Denver pulled off the upset. But outside of that, though, it's kind of a Thursday night game for Denver now. At least for the Broncos, you kind of focus up where at least coming up, you got you're home against at least the Green Bay Packers, so that'll be an interesting at least game, and then you got a quick turnaround to see the Chiefs there at least in Mile High. So, I guess the pulse of the nation from you, Bryson, though, is it something where, and again, you've kind of kidded around, but I think now as we are 6 games of the season, still a lot still remaining, but it's like is this season officially a wash and now we just kind of hope for I guess is it something that are you hoping for a top 5 top 10 draft pick from this team?
at this point, yeah, the season's a wash. Denver, we're more excited about the Nuggets and Avalanche kicking off. Shout out to the Avalanche. We'll get to that in a little bit, being 3-0 already. Um, you know, and they haven't even played at home yet. That's tomorrow, but we'll get to that. But yeah, I mean, this season's toast. It's everything we've seen the last 6 years. We're going on year 7, not going to the playoffs after winning a Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, go out. I mean, here's the thing, and this is what I don't like being a former player, and I said this before. You don't want to go out and try to lose. No one goes out and tries to lose, but you could literally tell that something might be going on, something might be fishy in the NFL where people are tanking for top picks if they know that they're just not going to be a good team. Um,
Well, you see
it
that in
literally
every
looks
league,
like
but
that.
yeah.
Yeah, it looks like that. Like the wide receivers aren't getting their blocks, they're not running their routes to full capacity. The linemen are just letting people blow by them. The lack of effort on the field. Um, and I said this last week, like at some point the players got to want to play. The coaches can only coach so much, but it's up to the players to execute and go out there and make a play. We haven't done that. We haven't done that in a long time. But here's the thing: as a football player, if you're going out there and half-assing it and just doing, just getting by, that's when you get hurt. That's when you start to see injuries pile up.
Yeah.
If you're not going full speed and that guy across from you is going full speed, guess what? 9 times out of 10, you're going to be the one on the bad end of the stick and you're going to get hurt. So don't expect to see, I wouldn't be surprised to see injuries coming up. If that's really what they're doing, I've never been a fan of people that say that we should tank for a pick because we don't know. Look at all the draft picks that have gone. Um, first round picks and like all these quarterbacks that you never even hear about anymore. They're bench warmers and then
Yeah.
they're out playing the XFL with the Rock and stuff. Like, look, nothing's promised. And Mark Schlereth said it great. We don't know what these guys are going to bring into the league just because they're a top draft pick. Look at Jerry Judy for instance. He's a first round pick. Have you seen first round anything out of Jerry Judy? I
He
haven't.
should be a beast, but yeah, he's not done a whole lot, or at least you
Marvin
can.
Mims
Yeah.
has done more than Jerry Judy's done in 4 or 5 seasons, in his rookie year. So it's like, hey, we can't really buckle down and rely on draft picks because that draft pick gets hurt on the first play, kind of like what happened to Aaron Rodgers. You never know what happens in football. You can never
Yeah.
ever just tank to lose. If you play to lose and you play football, you should play another sport. You shouldn't be in this sport. It's not the sport for losing. You
It,
should always go 100%. Our guys, the thing about the NFL and the difference between college football, because I started watching a lot more college football. Shout out to Prime. Um,
we'll
is
get
they're
to that.
making more money in the NFL. Now you're starting to see that a little bit in college football. Now that they're making money, you see how we went up 29. Well, I'm getting off topic, but just the Stanford, these kids are getting complacent because they're making, the money in college football now, and it's the same way in the NFL. These guys are content. I'm just gonna skate by, get go through the motions, and make a check.
Well,
So look at Randy Gregory already looking better on your team than when he ever did for the Broncos. Ironic.
he was a shining spot out there in Cleveland where there wasn't a whole lot going on. And again, we'll talk about me being at that game, which again was just absolute just crap and whatnot. Again, it was just yeah, we'll get into the 49ers of just how they just kind of pissed down their leg, but and it was funny you talk about that where again Gina kind of asked me that and we kind of discussed where it's like you kind of wonder not even just NFL but again professional athletes just in general if you're on a shitty team where it's like you're already making millions. You got guaranteed contracts. It's something where if team wants to trade you, they'll trade you. But again, they still got to eat up that contract, that money, and stuff like that. So again, it's kind of guaranteed to an extent. But it's something where it's like I. Not saying all, but you got to imagine that there are a few players out there in the leagues, again, on a Broncos, on a Chicago Blackhawks, Colorado Rockies, whatever it may be, that kind of just coast and say, hey, I got money. I got a contract. No need to exert myself. I know we're not on a winning team. I'll just cash my check. So, again, it kind of brings up a good, at least, thoughts where, yeah, at least in your mind, hey, let's be aggressive. Let's go out there, continue on. Let's avoid the injuries. But also, too, it's a scenario where, I wouldn't doubt again on that Broncos team. Not saying it's happening, but maybe a handful of those players right now are just going, we're on a losing team. I'm going to go through the motions and just cash my millions. And what do I care? It's something where why go above and beyond? Hey, I'm getting paid. I'm already a pro. I'm already a pro player, and it is what it is. Now, yeah, again, looking at the at least upcoming draft, where again, for Denver, do you go back to a quarterback? Do you look to again, at least what they have an option for out there, especially where you look at the USC quarterback. You just it's something that you wonder right now what Denver's mindset. I think again for the Broncos, you've done enough in the draft for over the past almost like a decade at this point. You got to be aggressive in the offseason. Again, sign some players. So, it's yeah.
Not only that, we got to get rid of the players that are making money that haven't really done anything. Justin Simmons, he's done a lot for this football program. The guy deserves to win a Super Bowl. He really does. Um, we just got to start getting value out of people that might not have any value further down the road. We're in a rebuild. Literally, I know we say it every year here in Denver, but like this is a rebuild. We got to start getting guys out that we can still get value for and get draft picks for. Um, the tanking, I don't know if that's a real thing, but hey, um, what we got to do to get new, fresh legs in here,
Yeah.
develop people. So I mean, it's going to be a long because people think like you could just get rookies and and it's just going to turn around everything. No, it takes
No.
years to process. We don't have a veteran quarterback other than Russell Wilson to give any leadership. And do you think Russell's in a hurry to mentor any young quarterbacks? No. Russell's trying to be that guy. He's trying to be the face of the Broncos, and he
Yeah.
hasn't been able to fulfill that slot. So it's just going to have to be a whole wash rebuild. It's going to take time for that, though. But the only problem is the Denver's culture that we've developed. It's a winning culture. You know, you got the other teams out here winning championships, even college teams winning championships. You know, we got the damn lacrosse team winning championships. Like the culture we developed puts so much pressure on the Broncos, especially with them going into now year 7 after winning the championship, not even making it to the playoffs. All the pressure is on them. All eyes are on them, um, in the NFL at least, pertaining to Broncos football. Broncos fans are always going to be Broncos fans. We're going to talk our shit, that's for sure, especially myself. But I'm a realist. I'm gonna keep it real. I don't,
Yeah.
I don't sugarcoat. Hey man, if you suck, you suck. You know, I played the game at a high level, so I call a spade a spade. You know me very
Oh
well,
yeah.
and I don't shy away from the truth. So it's going to be a rebuild. It's going to take time, and the only problem with that is we ran out of patience for the Broncos in Denver.
Yeah, again, I think it's at a breaking point at this point in time where, yeah, big changes have got to happen. And again, where that is, who knows at this point in time. Very quickly, we would have a quick chatter again, at least someone who's been in chat at least one time before. Marie won a game again. She goes, oh man, sports. Yeah, again, we'll get, at least for me, I'll get back into the video game later on this week, probably Friday as well, too. But again, with my man Bryson, same with Gina, again, a few other guests, we're going to explore since I don't get the radio opportunity right now to talk sports. So again, I've been Jones for it. So I created that opportunity. Again, I love having these chats with Bryson to get him again. If anything for us, and I've noticed this as well too, this is a nice way to vent on our teams and whatnot, especially for you, with at least what's going on there in Denver at this point in time. Because I feel you, Matt. Again, like I said, I've been there where, again, we were living down there in Denver, and it's something where I experienced. We were there for the Super Bowl 50 parade. We were front and center. Again, there's a million view at least video on both of us, again, enjoying that play,
Right.
enjoying that
Yeah.
at least win. So it's something that, again, a team where a franchise that is known as winning is known for going to the playoffs. It's got a loyal fan base. Right now, it's definitely at a breaking point that shit's got to change. And how much longer is Bronco Nation, and again, the Mile High City, or even the Front Range all the way up into Wyoming, gonna take this and eventually just turn their back and kind of end up, and we saw it a little bit last season, right? At least me and you, and same with Gina, where again we were at that Niners game where, again, that was what, Sunday Night Football. That place was not even remotely full at all. You got to imagine now, especially with the Avs in action, they're successful. The Nuggets winning the NBA championship. Hey, I'm going to spend my money elsewhere right now and screw you, Broncos. So, and also too again, it goes with ownership right now with the Waltons again, who are filthy rich. Do they need Broncos Nation's money right now? Not really. I don't think they're hurting with, again, an empty stadium, but it is
It's
what it is.
definitely it's definitely going to be. I mean, the no shows are just going to continue to compile up.
Yeah.
No one's trying to I'm almost to a point where you can't even pay me to go watch a game because I'm going to be so frustrated. I'd rather do something better with my Sunday, and at least be in comfortable clothes and not be around a bunch of people, that are saying, trying to be positive. When, like I said, I don't sugarcoat. Me and Broncos fans don't even get along, and I'm a Broncos fan because they just,
You speak you speak your mind, but also too, again, you go from the heart, and again also to process with, at least with the brain as well too, where again you're a realist. You understand that shit's going on, that it's not the right way, that again, hey, we got to change this. And again, whatever kind of PR bullshit that Sean Payton puts out there, that hey, this is, again, I'm not, I can read between the lines that Sean Payton, again, something big is going on. But
there's the coaches aren't in sync. I'm trying to figure out what's going on because you'll have the offense at least putting points up, and then the defense is just dreadful. And then this past week against Kansas City, I mean, finally the defense is stepping up. We're holding Kansas City, and now the offense is struggling. It's like, where are you guys going to finally gel and be on the same page. That's something we're not seeing. That starts with the front office. That starts with coaching, and then the players got to play. But I'm telling you, like it's just the seesaw teeter totter effect is in full effect in that locker room. Um, it seems like the guys don't get along. You know, you can see them bickering on the sideline. Um,
Yeah.
Russ doesn't take well to criticism. He's walking away from coach when he's getting yelled at, on the sideline. It's going in one ear and out the other. Like it looks like Russ is on his way out, and that's actually the rumor here in Denver that we won't
Should
have
be.
Russ Wilson next season.
Good.
Uh, it's like everybody's already hanging up their cleats, and as an athlete, it's sad to see because that's just not something you do, man. I love winning. I love competing. And these guys just aren't going out there to compete. They're going through the motions. They got stubborn. They got complacent because at the end of the day, they're getting that paycheck deposited in their bank account. And there's people like us trying to find other ways, other avenues, other streams of income, right?
Yeah.
So we're passionate about it, and you wish that you could see that same passion in these guys, because they're letting a lot of people down. It's really sad, this winning culture that we have in Denver. The economy's blowing up, and no one's out in Denver to watch the Broncos. It's a sad thing to see. It's a beautiful stadium. It's in the center, the heart of the city.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's kind of, like going in like this, and like you could kind of see people
Well,
just wither off and go and do other things.
and we'll move on for the Broncos, but it's something where it's interesting in the state of Colorado, and again, kind of the front range right now, and I'll include Laramie as well too with the University of Wyoming. But go figure that the most, at least, how do I put this? That the most important football right now, or at least the most watchable football, is about 70 miles south to the Springs with Air Force with the Academy, who got the win over Wyoming on Saturday. That again, the Air Force Falcons are at least probably the most watchable and enjoyable team, the best team, at least football team right now in Colorado, especially after what happened this Saturday. Well, again, I'll talk a little bit of. I had a chance to watch that Air Force Wyoming game, which again, Wyoming did the Wyoming thing as they've done every single year, it seems like, on a Craig Bowl. But I want to go back to Friday's contest where, again, Thursday Night Football, Denver KC. KC gets that win. CU, the Buffs, taking on Stanford. That game, and again, I do believe, yeah, that game was in CU. That was there in Boulder. 29-0 lead. And then, and I remember this as well, too, because, again, it was Friday night, and I forget that, again, obviously those games are very late here on the East Coast. But it's something where I go back. I didn't think anything of it. I go and get a final on ESPN going, oh shit. Stanford pulled off the upset. How? They were losing 29-0. Like that seems improbable, but they did. And talk about being complacent right now. And I watched the post game with at least that conference with Coach Prime, where again he's like, hey, I gotta find people that right now love this game. And I agree with that statement. It's something that for Coach Prime and for CU, it's a team that I don't want to say he's overhyped, but and I think we talked about it last week. It's his players right now that are in a whirlwind of emotion and again are distracted by all sorts of shit going on right now. Again, from the celebrities, from the endorsements to this and that. It's something that they got to get back to the basics of just playing football right now. Again, stop mocking, stop tweeting at. Again, I do believe what Shadur did that at halftime. Stop tweeting at halftime. Focus on football. Focus on winning, because right now, CU, going from the darlings they were for the first couple of weeks of college football, have now become almost a meme, almost have become a laughing stock, where now you got embarrassed by Oregon, and this is probably the most embarrassing loss so far of the year.
Yeah, getting complacent. And we all remember with Prime being at Jackson State, seeing those videos of pregame and halftime, like yelling at his players to be off your phone, like get off your darn phone, as he says. Um, but it seems like his son's always getting the pass. It's like, hey man, it's time to put that same accountability on Shadur. Hold him accountable. Yeah, he's a great player, but at the same time, you got to be a great leader. If you're in there showboating, all you that it's only going to poison the rest of the team, and that's exactly what happened. They got complacent. They settled in and said, oh well, we can just go through the motions the rest of this game and win.
Yeah.
Stanford said, hell no, we're hungry. We want to come out and compete. They didn't just lay on their backs and die. Shout out to that coach and that organization. I mean, I love football. I love the Buffs, but hey, I love the game more than that, right? I am a person that loves the game, and I can see that fight. I love not. I hate that happened to the Buffs, but it is really cool to see a team with their backs against the wall, nothing to lose really, and still come out and compete and find a way to win the game.
Just
Um,
knuckle it up again. Just got down and dirty, and yeah, just again pulled off. Again, I think the stat of what they were tossing around. Again, it was the largest come from behind victory in Stanford football history. And again, we're talking Stanford that has had some glorious teams well into the past, that has had Bill Walsh as their head coach at a point in time. So again, they pulled off some unbelievable upsets, and again have come away with some big victories. This is probably, again, as they're equating kind of one of their biggest victories in school history, to an extent of just what they did. Again, it was 29-0 at half. They pulled off 19 in the third, 17 in the fourth, and then that at least quintessential 10 they're an OT to pull off the 46-43 victory. Cardinal, again, 2-4 on the season. CU 4-3, so they're still above the Mendoza line. They're 1-3 in the conference. And again, their lone victory coming against, at least as I'm blanking on, again, the lone victory here in the conference, that was against Arizona State, which again, that was a come from behind victory for CU on the road there in Tempe. But Shadur, again, he's got talent, and I think Coach Prime, obviously his dad's going to put him really high, at least the high hype on him, but I think it's also I think he has every right to hype his kid, because again, 33 out of 47, 400 yards, 5 TDs with 1 INT. Not a bad night there on a Friday night in Boulder. So again, he did everything he can. It's just, yeah, it's something that the rest of the team, and obviously, again, there was a lot of eyeballs on Travis Hunter coming back. It was his first game after the injury. He really balled out, again, 140 yards, 2 TDs, at least on the receiving side. So he showed up. I think right now for CU, the rushing game's got to pick it up. Shadur, again, we know that he's a good runner. Only 37 yards for him, but again, he was the top, at least, rusher for that entire team this past Friday night. But
you don't want
yeah,
your starting quarterback to
yeah,
lead in rushing,
no.
especially given the hits that he's the most sacked quarterback in the whole country. You know, you don't need him taking any more hits than he already has to take, right? You got to get the ball in the hands of Dylan Edwards and Anthony Hankerson. You got to let these guys tote the rock. It shouldn't be at the Shadur. Guys got to get open. On the scramble, there's a scramble drill not only for quarterbacks but for receivers. You got to find a way to get open. Something the Broncos actually struggle with when Russ is scrambling. You got to find the open window for him to throw the ball, because he's taking way too many sacks.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Shador hasn't been seriously injured by now. Any other quarterback, just because Shador is he's a fighter, man, but a lot of other quarterbacks wouldn't be playing right now. They'd be too beat up. Some injury would have happened by now.
Well,
Right?
Shadur is a freak athlete in himself, so again, he can
Right.
withstand it. But also, too, it's like he's young as well. But after a point in time, that body is at least gonna feel it, especially once the air gets a little bit colder
Yeah.
and crisper out there in Boulder. But
Bo Nix couldn't get hit this many times and still be playing right now. I'll promise you that right now. It just wouldn't happen.
you're not wrong. You're not wrong on that. But it's something that for CU, and again, I'm following the Buffs just for the hype. And again, I want to believe in this, at least that college and Coach Prime and whatnot. Where again, if anything, I'm a Coach Prime fan. Again, I love what he's bringing to the table. I love the hype. I love just everything that he is about, to how he carries himself, how he wants his athletes to be. I love everything about it. So again, I respect him, and I respect the CU Buffs. It's something right now for Buffs fans where again, I've again, being close-ish to that team, or at least again within that vicinity. Obviously, again, I had more closer pulse on the University of Wyoming, but again, from time you look at CSU, CU, and again Air Force, just with again the relative close nature to us out there in Cheyenne or again Laramie. But again, we're talking about a CU program that had one win for, again, majority of its past couple seasons. So right now you're above the Mendoza line so far this season, 2 wins away for getting at least bowl eligible. Again, for CU fans, is it panic time or anything like that? Not really, because
No, it's more
you,
so.
you've already this season you have already done better than you have for about 5, 6, 7 seasons, just for the fact that again you already beat a top
Yeah.
25 team. You already have more than one victory. You're 2 wins away from again being bowl eligible. I think everything is kind of cherry at this point with Coach Prime, what he's doing here in year one. Is he a little bit below my expectations here in year one? Absolutely. I thought this was a team that was going to kind of knock on the door of the college football playoff. Not say they were going to get in and compete, but I figured they would be a threat on the outside looking in. But obviously, what we're seeing right now is they got a lot of issues. I'd be curious to see right now with practice and same with the game atmospheres, especially there in Boulder. How, again, you saw it on the vlogs, you see it all the time with the hype and whatnot. I'd be curious to see if Coach Prime kind of shuts this down and says, "Hey, respect To, respect Warren Sapp, respect all the rappers. Cool, I like that you're giving our kids loves, but we got to shut this down. We got to keep them focused on football right now."
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, it's not really. I mean, you give up 46 points in 2 quarters.
Yeah,
I mean, you, I really, to be honest, the defensive coordinator from Alabama is not all he's dished out to be. In my opinion, we like this. We're giving up a terrible amount of points. Terrible. Like I'm yelling at the TV, like, why are we playing this soft coverage all the time? Like just it doesn't make any sense. We're just not having the kids in the right place. But another thing is on CU's defense is tackling. I mean, I you rarely see them make the first tackle. It's always 5, 6 yards further down the field. You know what I mean?
yeah.
They're missing tackles left and right. But yeah, 46 points after you're up 20. I mean, that's just unheard of. I wouldn't say it's time to push the panic button, but the reality button has definitely sunk in. It's an eye opener, and they need to learn and get better from it. Watching that post game speech with Prime, he was disgusted with the performance, and he
Well,
made
yeah.
him practice. He made him practice the next day. Like, they practiced on Saturday, so
Hey,
hopefully,
I don't blame him on that one. And again, you could tell that again he wasn't visibly angry, but you can kind of hear it in his voice, especially in that post game conference. That again, it was just like this shit's got to end. We are way better than this, and I agree with him. I think that team's a way better team than what they're sporting right now. Again, sitting right now 4-2. They are on the bye week, so does that come
four
at
and
a
three now. Four
yeah,
and three.
4-3? Excuse me. So again, they are going into the bye week. So again, a chance to get healthy, chance to kind of iron things out. Don't know if this comes at a good time, bad time. If anything, it should come at the right time after, again, that loss to Stanford. You do have upcoming, again, this will be at least next week. It'll be Colorado in Pasadena to take on, at least as of right now, the number 25 team in the land, UCLA, the Bruins, who look pretty damn impressive. So can they pull off another top 25 upset on the road? Maybe if they can figure things out. Like I said, I think they're capable of doing it. Clearly, they did it at least in Fort Worth against TCU. But you know, does this team have more issues behind the scenes than what we really know? And also, too, it's something where we talk about fans stepping away from Mile High, at least from Mile High Stadium out there for the Broncos. Yeah, I wonder if people are gonna. We'll say if they lose to UCLA, which again, there's a good possibility that they lose on the road. That puts them at 4-4. Next game would be against a ranked opponent as of right now, Oregon State. I mean, that'll draw eyes just for the fact that it's a top 25 team coming to Boulder. But you wonder if fans, if they lose to UCLA, do fans start kind of turning their backs to CU and don't show up to Folsom Field at least for that home contest?
No, it's still excitement. They're still going to be there to support the team. Prime just that's part of him coming out here. Like I don't see it being like that quite yet. Especially like you said, it's year one, man. We were 1-11 last year. Can't really hang our heads on a whole lot, but we will want to see some improvement with the UCLA game. If we're up, we better stay up. Like UCLA is nothing to write home about. They're still top 25 team in the country right now. So
I think they're
we
good.
got
You got to respect them. Yeah.
yeah, we got to come out and play. We can't, we just can't come out soft like the second half we did against Stanford. We played down, and remember I spoke about this before. We're really good at playing down to our opponent's level. You can't do that. You have to just remain at your level at all times. That's what they're having difficulty with. Because, like I said, the coaches can only coach so much. It's up to the
Yeah.
players to go out there and perform at a high level that he knows that they're capable of doing. And if you're not, Prime's also really good at taking your ass out and putting in younger players that'll go out because they're going to be hungry.
Yeah.
They're not all about the flash and stuff. They want to get their shine as well. Um,
Well, hell, we saw that with Felia again, where at least the main kicker, and then eventually again got replaced with Muda, or at least
yeah,
again. So we already saw that.
and
So
Marion Cooper
yeah,
coming in, the
yeah.
freshman, the wide receiver just coming in and having a day one game. And even Prime said, I didn't think Omarion was going to go out there and do that. He hasn't been doing it in practice.
I
But hey, man,
I think
there's
playing in
practice players and there's game time
yeah.
players. I was a game time player. I hated practice, but I showed enough to start. But yeah, man, when those lights are on, it's a whole nother universe, whole nother atmosphere.
It's a team that right now needs to start from the basics, or at least kind of go back to the basics, plain and simple. I think they gotta get away from the distractions. It's a team that again you gotta humble yourselves to the point where it's like, yes, you got the talent inside you, but right now, after what just happened this past Friday, you got to humble yourselves again. Realize that again, you're 4-3 right now, so no one's respecting you. Right now, you are kind of a laughing stock of the NCAA scene. So, you know,
I'll
we'll
tell
see.
you
We'll
what it
see what
is,
this
though.
bye week does for. Again, I would hope that for this bye week, it came at the right time. That again, it's like focus back up, focus on again playing football.
I'll tell you what it really is. It is the core of the team. It is the offensive and defensive line. Prime went out and recruited. He did his recruiting, but most of our recruiting was all skill players. You got
Yep.
obviously his son, you got wide receivers, you got the flashy corners, you got his son at safety. I mean, you could tell. I mean, offense and defensive line, we didn't do the best job at recruiting there. I mean, Shador shouldn't be the most sacked quarterback, especially with his skill set in all of college football. That's just ridiculous. So obviously, a lot of people on that offensive line you're not going to see in the locker room next season. That portal is going to be open, transfers. Obviously the recruiting is going to happen, but yeah, man, it's going to be the huge swing for CU is
Oh,
going to be the backbone of the team, which is the offensive
yeah.
and defensive line. The guys up front creating the momentum, creating the distractions, creating the chaos, as they say in
Yeah.
football. So,
And who knows if it's the actual linemen themselves, or again could be the O line coach, who again I know for CU again the O line coach is O'Brien from he spent time with Shadron State, so again out there in Nebraska, won a couple national titles with them. So again, who knows if he'll retain as a coach for the offensive line, or what's going to happen there. I do believe O'Brien's a Wyoming guy as well too, so we'll see what happens after this. Where again, if the O line is definitely an issue. Is it the talent or is it the coaching? Who knows what will change? When that season comes to an end. But again, obviously, we're still many weeks away from that. But CU got a bye week. Got to focus up on UCLA. We'll see what happens. So, that was a tough one. Friday night, I wouldn't doubt for the mile, at least for Colorado, for again Buffs fans all over that. You can't see a loss like that. That should not be happening. Again, you can't play down to your opponent like that. And when you do, guess what? They pull off again their largest comeback in school history, which is just crazy. So, but moving
uh,
on, though, again, college football. Speaking of playing, I wouldn't say playing down to your opponent, but it's something where this Saturday night had a chance. They were on CBS Sportsnet, so had a chance to watch it live here on the couch, and Gina was by my side watching it. Cowboys, Wyoming, Mountain West battle. It was basically for, as I kind of at least kind of deemed it on Twitter, where it was like, this is your determination factor right here in the regular season of who's going to come away as a conference champ. Who also too determines who could be in a New Year's at least kind of six bowl, New Year's Day six bowl, which again a lot of folks are now at least saying Air Force is bound to go to the Fiesta Bowl. So we'll see if they can continue the trend, which right now no one else in the Mountain West Conference seems to be in their way. But yeah, Cowboys. You had a lead. I know going down to the Springs is tough. I've seen plenty of Wyoming teams go down there to take on the Air Force Academy. And again, Air Force, the most predictable team on the planet. You know what they're going to do. They're going to run. They're going to
They
run
haven't
every
changed.
single time. Yeah, so you know what to do. But for some reason, they get beat by them every single time. And it was something that I posted this on my Twitter after the game ended, where it was something that as I'm watching this live, here we go in the fourth quarter. Again,
They
there was a
put
couple.
up
There was
more points than Texas did.
yeah, it's something that's for the Wyoming Cowboys. They have this situation, and I call it a situation with Craig Bull, who again I am not the biggest fan on. I've called for his head many a time, many a season. That again, this guy has not proven to me anything that he's worth $1 million to be the head coach of the Wyoming Cowboys. But it's something that, for whatever reason, when the game's on the line and we got second and short, third and short, or third and long. Again, it doesn't matter. For some reason, when it's right down to the line, we have conservative play calls. We like to keep it on the ground where we don't like to trust our quarterbacks now. And again, especially with Andrew Peasley, who seems like a stud. He was 15 for 25, 212 yards, 3 TDs. Again, a 90.3 QBR according to the ESPN stats. So again, did not have a bad day. So again, the guy wasn't having struggles down there in the Springs. But what do we do when, again, we have to get back in this game? We go and play, we do conservative offensive plays, and we keep it on the ground where it's like, what are we doing? It's something for the Wyoming Cowboys. This has been their MO for, it seems like, day one that Craig Bull accepted the job to come down to Laramie, Wyoming. So, again, Cowboys led 21-17 at half. Air Force, again, found a way to score 17 more points. Lonely 6, again, a couple field goals for the Cowboys there in the fourth quarter. This was a game that just slipped out of the hands of Wyoming. They should have won this one. This is kind of, it was kind of that bittersweet, at least, contest where it's like, of all the times, of all the games, you went conservative here. You went to the run, and also, too, on the defense, went conservative on the play call, where, again, there was a couple times where we're sitting back for pass defense, at least kind of defend pass, but it's Air Force. They run the triple option. Very rarely do they pass, and every single time we're sitting deep for an attempt, at least attempted pass, and guess what? They did not pass it. So it was something that I felt like in the second half, with Wyoming having the lead, they got a little too comfortable. And this is something I've said for many years for the Wyoming Cowboys, I don't blame it on the talent. I think there's all the talent in the world there with Wyoming. I think Craig Bull, give him credit, is, again, a very good recruiter. He sees, again, that talent. Obviously, he did see Josh Allen and obviously what he did with his time there in Laramie, but why we don't use this talent to its full potential, I just do not understand, especially in big games like this. Craig Bull has yet to win a big game in my mind. Again, he has not won a Mountain West Conference championship. He had an opportunity, lost that one. Again, this was it. This was your stamp to just go and say, hey, we are the best team in the Mountain West. This was your chance to get in the top 25 for the first time in I don't know how many years it's been for the Wyoming Cowboys.
Yeah. It's not going to get any easier at Boise State on the blue turf over there. So, it's only going to get rougher. So they better, they can come together. Like I said, they're on the bye week as well. So, kind of come to grips and, refine yourself, refocus, humble yourself. That's a huge thing, especially with these younger guys. And go out there and have fun. Like a lot of times these guys are, they're trying to get to the next level. They're trying so hard. They're trying to get their own film. They're trying to get their take. It's real easy in the college football world to lose yourself on team when it's a lot about I, because especially if you're trying to get to the next level.
Well, and especially, yeah. I was going to say, especially at that point where, again, in a Mountain West Conference, and again, same with the other mid-majors around at FBS level, where, again, not only do you have to shine over, again, Power 5 conferences and Power 5 teams and Power 5 athletes, you also do have to shine, again, on your own team within your own conference that's not getting a whole hell of a lot of looks. Now, in my opinion, again, is the Mountain West Conference the best of the mid-majors of the General 5? Absolutely. I think the Mountain West is better than the MAC, better than the Sun Belt, better than Conference USA. But again, it's something that for NFL scouts, especially again, as we talk about the Front Range, where are the NFL scouts going right now? They're going to the Springs. They're going to go to Boulder. They're going to set their focus on those two areas right now instead of making that trip up to Laramie, Wyoming to go, oh, what's up with this Wyoming team right now that is sitting right now
Yeah.
5-2. So
No
again,
Josh Allen on that team anymore, so it makes it a little more
P-
difficult to make that trip.
Peasley again, he is a work in progress. I think he's got a lot of talent. We'll see how he develops for the at least kind of second half of the season. They are sitting in a good spot, 5-2, 1 win away from being bowl eligible, which is whoop-de-doo at this point. Again, we've been bowl eligible every single, it seems like, year in and year out. It's more so of, I want a bigger, better bowl. I want more of that. I want more of those statement victories, which again, this Saturday night could have been that one to kind of put Wyoming back in that top 25. Instead, Air Force gets a victory. Air Force is now in the driver's seat. They are in the top 25. I think they're number 22 in the nation. They're undefeated at 6-0. I think I mentioned it last week where, again, I got a little confused. I didn't realize they changed it in the Mountain West Conference where they had it split originally to the Mountain and West divisions, where, again, top two division winners would meet for that Mountain West Conference championship. Instead, now it's the top two teams all together in that entire conference that now compete. Hey, Air Force has got the already head-to-head. Right now, Air Force doesn't look like they're going to lose to anyone a part of their schedule. And now for Wyoming, your next big matchup right now, outside of, again, you do have to focus on Boise State, which, again, Boise State is beatable. They are very beatable, even though it's on the blue turf, and the blue turf is that bugaboo where, yeah, great teams have come to Boise and fall into them. So we'll see how Wyoming does out there in Idaho. But your main focus is UNLV. And that game in Allegiant Stadium out there in Las Vegas. UNLV sits right now 5-1. They're undefeated in the conference at 2-0. So that's another marked game where if Wyoming wants to have another shot at Air Force, and this time for the Mountain West Conference Championship, you got to get it done November 10th at UNLV. And again, that game on FS1. But obviously for the Wyoming Cowboys, still got Boise to focus on. You're home against CSU. And again, I've seen this, and hopefully me and you have that opportunity that Friday night to go out there and check that game at the War Memorial Stadium. But I've seen shitty CSU teams that had one victory pull off the win and get the bronze boot against Wyoming that had about 6 more victories than them. So anything and everything can happen in that rivalry game. So you focus on that UNLV game, that's going to have a lot of weight, but obviously you still have two. For Wyoming, they're winnable games. They're very winnable games. The question is, will they win it right now? Will they go back to their old ways of finding a way to screw up and slip up in the Mountain West Conference? That's kind of the concern right now because, again, I've seen it many times. I've been close to that pulse in Laramie. That's why I stopped going to those games, is because I know what Craig Bull does. Craig Bull finds a way to just sit at average. He is an average head coach right now in FBS. He's a 500 coach. And again, look at his stats. He's 500.
Yeah.
So
it starts with Boise State. Got to turn around there.
Yeah, without a doubt. So that's how that goes. Very quickly, I'll just mention as well, too, again, alum of the University of Idaho, they had a big contest as well, too. This was a black weekend in football for yours truly. And again, same with you as well, too, Bryce. And again, neither, at least your teams didn't win either. But again, God, with Wyoming, again, my home state, again, the Cowboys fall to Air Force. We'll get into the 49ers and that loss. The University of Idaho, which, again, I attended out there. Again, the Vandals had a big contest at home in the Kibbie Dome against Montana, the Grizzlies in the FCS. That had a lot of weight. Both teams were ranked. Idaho was not undefeated. Their only loss was against the Cal Golden Bears, but they were top. I think they were ranked number 4 in the FCS. Montana was number 10. Montana found a way to pull off the upset, even though it was a good battle back and forth, but Idaho just had a slow start. So God, it was just, again, it stemmed from Friday the 13th. I blame that. Friday the 13th, the weekend was just black. It was dismal. It's just sucked. It was a bloody football weekend for yours truly. But
You and
anyway,
me both.
So, I don't know where we want to head from here. Again, if we want to talk NFL, I guess we can very quickly right now. I know you want to get into NHL notes. I do as well too. Again, Vegas Golden Knights, they're unbeaten as well too. Same with your Avs. But very quickly, as we'll keep on and round out NFL talks, the 49ers. I had a chance. Myself and Gina, we went to Cleveland, made that trip out here from Western PA to Cleveland, which again was about a 3 hour trip. So again, wasn't too bad, but. This was a game that I circled on my calendar, going, all right, that could be an interesting one. As season went on, I go, okay, Niners are the best team in the league. Cleveland isn't all that impressive. They were 2-2 at that point before Sunday's victory, but I figured that 49ers should have won pretty comfortably, even in Cleveland Brown Stadium. Well, hell, I was wrong on that one too. As much as I, I I don't know what to make of what happened this past Sunday. And again, Christian
Browns have
McCaffrey.
a good defense. The Browns are the best defense in the league. That's what happened.
You say that, but the stats say that again. The 49ers have the best defense, and again, they held again Cleveland to again only 19 points. Obviously, Cleveland had a different quarterback at the helm again with Walker, who is again more of a runner. Again, Walker also got 2 INTs. So again, Niners at least on the defense were pretty impressive. It was just the offense. For whatever reason, this was the first game in at least in his entire starting career that Brock Purdy looked mortal. It was kind of that shock of, Brock, what are you doing right now? It was something where it's like he was making throws to the sidelines where it was like, why are you doing this?
That's why I tell 49ers fans, hey, you guys can be the regular season champs all you want. Because when it comes down to playoffs, you can't lose like this. And you know that. It's 0-0 once playoffs start. This is why the 49ers haven't won a Super Bowl since the 90s.
So it's 94. Yeah.
Yeah. This is what happens.
We've been to a few since then, but we can't beat the Ravens, we can't beat the Chiefs. So again, my experience here, though, again, to give an idea, it was a little cold, a little windy, a little rainy. Obviously, you're right there by Lake Erie, so all those elements kind of played into it. It's mid-October, so weather it wasn't bad. It was not a bad condition. It was something that you knew that, and I think that was the scenario. I think we saw that with one Brock Purdy snap that again. Ball was a little wet. He couldn't handle it, and again, nearly fumbled the thing. So, conditions weren't terrible. The environment there, I will say that again, the hype, the pregame or the player intro for the Browns, pretty nice. I liked it. Again, they played into the Lake Erie effect and all that stuff. So again, it was one of the more interesting player introductions I've seen. Again, I've only been to Denver, Santa Clara, Pittsburgh, and now Cleveland, but and even Seattle as well too. But it was fans are they got after me, but also too it's like you kind of put them back in their place and you kind of you point to their stadium and go, last time you won a championship was in the 60s. Again, talk to me when you won a championship before disco was dead, or at least after disco was dead. So it's something that for Cleveland Brown fans, again, as much as they wanted to troll me, and other 49er fans, is like, in the end, you got the victory, but also, too, your franchise has been a joke for about 40, 50 years. So talk to me when you're good and relevant. But either way, it was fun. It was a good crowd on hand, not a full house, clearly. There was a lot of red, and I think that's what you're going to expect on a lot of road games this year. You already saw it. I saw it in Pittsburgh. You saw it here in Cleveland. The other, at least, road game that they had earlier this year, again, L.A. as well, too. 49er fans are going to show up. They're going to show up big, proud, and in that red, at least coloring, so expect that throughout the rest of the season. It'll be very interesting to see December 3rd when they go to Philly to see how split that crowd could actually be for the 49ers, which, again, I'm really hoping for that reality. But a little side note as well, too, with that game as well, too. Again, Gina was with me watching that. Again, not the biggest sports fan. She was there, at least in support. She at least enjoyed, or at least kind of the ride and just being around me. The thing she got pleasure out of at halftime, obviously it's the Browns. They are the dogs, essentially. At least that's kind of what they've adopted. At halftime, well, they didn't like the. We didn't do any tailgating. There wasn't a whole lot of tailgating because again, you're weirdly landlocked there in Cleveland by at least by the lake. But what she enjoyed was halftime. They had a little dog race where whatever dog won got their owner like season tickets or something like that. But again, you watch these dogs just sprint across the field, and again, sometimes just got loose from their owners, and it was madness and whatnot. So again, she enjoyed that. I enjoyed it. A lot of folks enjoyed that, so it was kind of nice for that. But back to the game though. Inexcusable loss. Niners should have no business losing that. They had the chance right there at the end to again kick the winning field goal. The rookie kicker, I forget his name. I get it, you're a rookie, but also too, it's like you went through college, probably through tougher environments than what you experienced right there in Cleveland, and probably worse weather than that, and yet you can't kick field goals, and he missed two of them. It's inexcusable, and it's something that if you're San Fran right now, if you're John Lynch in the front office, you kind of want to look to getting a new kicker or again find someone that's available at this point in time to be like, hey, let's get this guy out because clearly he can't get it done right now. So, yeah, it just that's a bittersweet loss. It was tough. To see them go down the way that they did again, this is a team that is a lot better than this. To put up 17 points on the road against the Browns. So the Browns again, they were 500 at that point. So, I mean, for the Niners, you lick your wounds. The tough thing is out of that game, Christian McCaffrey came away with an injury. We'll see how he kind of fares to the at least remainder of the season. Your boy Gregory. Appreciate the trade. At least it wasn't even a trade. Well, yeah, I guess technically it was a trade. But either way, he showed up and shined in that contest. Got a couple sacks. So again, as I told you again, he was going to be a big. At least I hope he had a lot of success, and he certainly did at least in this game against Cleveland. So again, shout out to Gregory getting it done on the defensive side. Niners big contest coming up, I do believe. What they got Monday night? Monday night against the Vikings, and again, that's in Minnesota. Yeah, should beat Minnesota, but right now we'll see how this team is because they got a little banged up there in Cleveland. So, yeah, we'll see how it is. Marie won a game. What to say? Kick the kicker. Yeah, I wish I could kick the kicker in that Sunday night game, or at least Sunday game. It was like, God, it was kind of that moment where it's like, just let me put the uniform on. I could probably kick better than you at this point in time. God damn. But, yeah, it is what it is. So. That was my chance to vent, at least with the 49ers.
And let the frustrations leak out. Welcome to my world.
Welcome to your world. Any surprises very quickly from the NFL Sunday for you? The one big surprise for me, and I think you would agree, was the Eagles, or at least if it was a bloody Sunday for at least for my 49ers, thankfully it was a bloody Sunday for Seahawks, and same with the Eagles, that no undefeated teams remain, that even if the Niners are going to lose, all the teams that are in competition for whether it's the division or, again, that number one seed, also two loss. So, again, I'll take that. But the big surprise was the Jets pulling off the victory. Granted, it was at home, but they defeated the Eagles. Jalen Hurts.
Man, the Jets have been looking good, man. They've been looking good.
That feels so weird to say.
Since the Kansas City game, honestly. Like, the Jets should have beat the Chiefs for sure. The collusion in the NFL was definitely brought to the forefront in that game. And I'm pretty sure, like, I already knew that the Broncos are going to be dead in the water to them. But yeah, I mean, the Jets have been playing good football, man. Zach Wilson, I'm actually happy for him because no one believed in him. They're playing good football, man. So yeah, again, that is kind of a
Zach Wilson finally stopped focusing on the MILF hunting and focused on football, and look at that. It's paying off for him. So at least good on him. But Jalen Hurts, though, again, he had 3 INTs in that game. He just looked terrible.
I mean, everyone's going to have that bad game, though, man.
But he got exposed. If I'm the 49ers, though, I'm looking at that and I go, wow, we know what it takes to like slow this guy down when we see him again in December.
Nothing's too shocking. It is shocking, honestly, to see the Bengals at the bottom of their division.
They're coming back, though. They're coming back.
Yeah, they are. Also, the Chargers are going to charge her, so that wasn't a shocker. Um, it's kind of funny to watch how bad Bill Belichick is without Tom Brady. Uh, I just I love to see it as a Broncos fan. It's like, yeah, this it's kind of like us right now with Sean Payton. They were going over his stats, and his offensive rankings with Drew Brees, and now without him, and it's like, oh, it's night and day. It takes that franchise quarterback to really move a team forward.
Yeah.
Sure, Peyton didn't have the best year when we won the Super Bowl with them, but he had leadership and he did things. He did enough to win us games when he was in there, right? Um, but yeah, we had a great defense that season. But you need that franchise quarterback. You just can't do it without having that franchise quarterback. I don't care what anybody tells you. When it comes down to crunch time, the franchise quarterback brings multiple elements to the game, not only the knowledge, but the leadership, and then keeping the locker room together. That's what a franchise quarterback can do for a team. So, I mean, you can kind of see how it's fallen apart in the Chargers for the Chargers, though. I love to see the Detroit Lions at the head of the NFC North. I've been watching them the past few
They
years, and
deserve it.
ever since they got that new coach, watching them on Hard Knocks,
Yeah.
they're a much better team than what they've been. And now coach is finally getting his team gelled together. They're playing as a team. Super happy for the Detroit Lions. Um,
I'm waiting for that franchise though, where again it's kind of like I guess essentially like with Rocky fans, or again I'm trying to think of other down and out like franchises. I guess like Chicago Cubs fans before they won at least a title there in 2016. But again it's something for the Lions. Happy for them. They're 5-1 right now. I had a feeling that they were going to be a good team this year, but you're kind of waiting for that moment where again they're gonna get kicked in the balls and just like come back to reality of like, ah, crap, here we go again. Like here is that franchise that we know and love, that we love to hate at a point in time. But kudos to Detroit, they are for real. Even though again right now in the NFC North, Minnesota's not real competition. Bears are terrible. Green Bay, I don't know what to make of Green Bay, and obviously we'll see how they are against Denver. Again, should they win against Denver? Yeah, but I could see Denver winning that game. So
yeah,
I think
it's
Detroit.
kind of
I
up in
think
the air.
Detroit.
Yeah,
I think Detroit's in a position where they're in a very weak division and just taking great advantage of it. So again, for Lions fans, this is that year, and you got to cash in. Are the Lions the best team right now in the NFC? No, they are far from it. I don't think the Lions right now match up to Philly. I don't think they match up to the 49ers. It's something that Lions are good, but they haven't been tested, and it's something that on paper right now, Lions are still kind of that there's a level where Niners and Eagles are at. They're kind of a rung below, if not even below that rung right now in my
yeah.
mind. So
Well, I mean, the season's wide open still.
oh
No
yeah.
one, no one's super dominant right now. We're seeing that week in and week out. This is up for grabs, especially the teams that are have 3+ wins. Go out there and win some games. Nothing's out of the water except for obviously like the Broncos and like the Bears. But
Patriots.
I mean, in the Panthers,
Yeah, that too.
Panthers might as well just they're tanking for Caleb at this point. But yeah, man, a lot of football. I mean, this past weekend, I'll be honest with you, in NFL football, the games were so boring. I'm just like, oh man, from Thursday night all the way, and I was so excited Monday night, like, oh man, finally some Monday night football. Just had a long day at work. I can watch football again, and then we watched that game, and it's like, oh my god, this was the worst weekend of football I think I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
But it is up for grabs. Nothing's too far out of sight for a lot of teams, so that's going to be the exciting thing moving forward in the NFL for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. So again, obviously a lot of regular season still to go. So we'll see how things size up as now we're starting to see those teams at the top run into injuries, run into problems. We'll see how they rebound on that. So again, but a lot of games still remaining against Niners. They got the Monday night game against the Vikings. So obviously I'll be watching that. So we'll probably won't have that show obviously for that reason on Monday night. But anyways, we'll move away from football. Again, it was such a shitty weekend for football. It didn't matter. Again, high school, college. Again, if it was FCS, FBS, NFL, XFL, USFL, I don't care. It was just
Not a
rough.
football weekend,
It,
that's for
it
sure.
wasn't. Instead, it was a hockey weekend. At least I know you'll get into the Avs. They are unbeaten as of right now. Again, we're early into the season. Vegas Golden Knights are 4-0. They've had some good wins against some solid opponents. Again, at least night one, they took on Seattle, got the 4-1 victory. San Jose, they're terrible, but they got the victory either way. Defeated the Ducks, are 4-1. At least defeated them 4-1. Last night's game, got the victory against Dallas. Dallas is being picked right now to be that cup favorite. Well, they defeated them in Vegas 3-2 at least in a shootout. So right now, Vegas Golden Knights sit at 4-0 on the season. Obviously, they still got 78 games still remaining, at least on that schedule. But what do I care? Again, they are undefeated. They are still your Stanley Cup champions. But I'll give you a chance right now to shine with at least with the Colorado Avalanche, that also too right now sit at 3-0, and again they have 6 points, and again do have, at least as of right now, the Central Division lead.
Yeah, I mean, if our teams stay healthy, man, we're gonna see those two juggernauts going at it again in the playoffs.
Which is
You know,
always fun. That is, and again,
so fun.
we've been there. We've been there at Ball Arena, or again the Pepsi
Yeah,
Center, whatever you want to call it. But that has been some good
yep. I really
hockey.
honestly think it's gonna come down to who's healthy and who's not. If we can keep guys healthy and continue to win games, even when they need a rest, or if they're not healthy for a few games, it's all got. It's all going to be in the training room. I'm telling you right now, it's going to come down to it. These are two of the best teams in the NHL still, and they have been for the last few seasons. Throw up the Tampa Bay Lightning in there as well. Boston's not going anywhere. Obviously, they're out for blood this year. What happened to them last year?
Yeah,
That was so. Whew. I felt for Boston Bruins fans
to
because all that, like that whole season of just
get them
dominating,
Bears like that. Yeah,
just to go out like that. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a really. I've never been so excited for a hockey season in a long time since the Avs won. But I'm telling you, like this, just seeing so many different teams that are competing at a high level, hockey's going to be super fun to watch this year.
yeah, without a doubt. Again, it's something where you're starting to see new teams, new lifeblood, kind of pick it up again. We'll see what happens with the likes of Detroit. The Red Wings they've had a storied franchise, but again they've gone on some rough times. But we'll see what Detroit can do there in the Eastern Conference. Same with Chicago. Again, obviously they got Connor Bedard, who's supposed to be the next Wayne Gretzky, or if not even better. He's kind of been up and down, but again it's still early on. He is a rookie as well too, so we'll see if Chicago can survive out there in the Central Division against Colorado, Minnesota, Dallas, St. Louis. Again, they got a lot in front of them. So yeah, but Vegas though, 4-0. I guess for me and you, the big circle date right now is November 4th. That game out in Las Vegas, Colorado taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. So again, that's right around the corner. So again, let's see. I mean, I'll be out in your area if we at least if we just make that quick flight. It's a quick flight Denver, DIA to Las Vegas. If we want to make that to the T-Mobile Arena, we could probably make that happen. But we, I don't know. I'm kind of old to do shit like that again. But yeah,
We're not young
yeah.
anymore.
It's like, just think about that. It's just like my back hurts and stuff. It's just like, oh god, I gotta get on this plane and shit. It's like,
Yeah,
I gotta get up
yeah,
early.
man. Hockey is definitely going to be exciting this year, especially with our two teams probably going to be duking it out later in the season. And like I said, it's just going to come down to who's healthy and who's not. I really felt like if the Avs were healthy last year, there's no way in hell we're going out
Oh yeah.
to the crack in the first series of the playoffs. But we had like 6 key injuries to keep us out. But hey, they still made it to the playoffs with all our guys out. Some young guys got some experience, so I really feel like it's going to be good for the Avs moving forward. Keep our guys on the ice, keep them healthy, and it's going to be a nice season to watch. Same with like your Golden Knights. Obviously, everyone's out to get them. Um, but yeah, it's just exciting to watch hockey. Such a breath of fresh air from what's going on. With football, NFL in general, it's like, oh man, it's just not as exciting this year.
Well, maybe for
It's
you,
just really not.
Well, maybe for you again, I still got hopes with the 49ers. So again, I got a couple
Yeah,
teams on.
yeah,
I still got a couple teams on my radar right now. So again, Niners doing, again, still at least in that driver's seat to an extent. It's gonna definitely feel weird this hockey season though. Where again, I am definitely that person out here in Western PA and in Penguins country that again is showing my gold around saying, yeah, we are still that defending Stanley Cup champions. It's gonna feel weird to not go down to the Ball Arena and again sport my Vegas Golden Knight gear in front of the Avs fans. But again, instead I'll have to just put Penguins fans in their place and just show who the best team is out in this part of the world. But again, hopefully I can also make up a trip up to Buffalo as well too. That's only I think from where I'm at here. Again, it's like a 2-hour drive up north. So again, shit, might go see Sabres and Vegas Golden Knights, which again I think that game's in March. So we'll see about that. But definitely will feel weird this hockey season where again me and you can't pair to a game down there in Ball Arena and see these two behemoths just battle it out in the Western Conference. But will these two teams again, if they stay healthy, if they're on that right path, will they meet each other? And again, the only way they would meet is again, I don't think either or is going to be a wild card. So again, essentially, you would meet each other possibly in the Western Conference Finals. Could that be a
yeah,
reality? Yeah, I think so.
yeah.
I think absolutely so. So it is going to be so much fun here hockey season just to see who shines up, who shines, and who from the bottom kind of reemerges or at least kind of shines up. Again, Chicago,
It's
Detroit,
like
who
Ali
knows?
Frazier with our teams. That's why it's so exciting.
Yeah, it absolutely will be. And same as well, too, very quickly as we'll round things up. Again, at least basketball talk, NBA. We know we're in the preseason right now, which, again, doesn't mean shit. But it's
Yeah,
something that Golden State, we're starting to see, at least we're getting Chris Paul out there in front of fans, giving at least Steph Curry some, at least time off, or at least giving him a little breaks. Golden State, Denver, they've had their battles over the past couple of years. Obviously, Golden State's been kind of up and down. Injuries have faulted, but obviously, let's not forget that again. 2 years ago, they are NBA champs. Last year goes to your Denver Nuggets. So, again, where we talk Vegas, we talk Avs as a good battle on the ice. On the hardwood, Denver Golden State, which again in previous years, whether regular season and postseason, has been a very good battle. It can still continue that trend this season where, again, Golden State's added some pieces. Denver really didn't need to add a whole lot. They just need to be healthy. But, again, Warriors and Nuggets, that could also too be a damn good series to watch throughout this year.
yeah. I didn't want to play them last year. I did. I always hate playing Golden State in a series because Steph just knows how to beat the Nuggets. He can beat you by yourself. But the Nuggets, yeah, I mean,
It's
we
such
don't,
a
like you said, we don't need to bring a lot of people back. We need some young guys
yeah.
to step up. We need guys off the bench to step up for this season. Because especially if we're coming out like last season, Jokic and Jamal, they're gonna need some of those days off. People were, kind of shunning on the Nuggets and our coach Malone. Why are we sitting Jokic? Why are we sitting our key players? And then you come to find out, like, yeah, so they have fresh legs further down the stretch because
Yeah.
he gets to see these guys and spend time with them more than we can behind the scenes. He knows that if they need the rest, especially Jokic, the guy's out there like the whole damn game,
Yep.
like. So it was good to see. Shout out to the Nuggets for winning last season. Thank God, man. I got my championship hat, man. I wear my finals hat almost every day, especially with
I
the
like
Broncos.
I like the other design because the Warriors had it for 22 and whatnot. Where again it says like NBA champs and it's that snapback and whatnot. I have that
Yeah.
one hanging over yonder. But again, I love that design. Again that
NBA, we'll see. Yeah, we don't have to touch on that much. It's preseason.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, there's still time to go on that one. So, but that might be exciting for both of our teams. We'll see how that develops this season. But
yeah.
yeah, so I think that'll wrap things up here tonight. Again, MLB playoffs. I really have not cared one bit. I haven't watched. I have not.
No,
Again,
that many people have.
yeah, it's like it's something that all I know is the Dodgers were out of it. I'm happy that the Dodgers, found a way to bite the dust again.
No one
So
wants the Astros to win after what happened. like,
If anything, like I said, if anything, very quickly on MLB playoffs, I'm rooting for Bruce Bochy, again, manager of the Texas Rangers, again, manager for the Giants, who, again, brought us the 3 titles out there. So, again, if anything, I'll pull for the Rangers. Good on them. They deserve a title because, again, they have not won in their franchise history. So, but outside of that, though, again, for MLB playoffs, sorry, I got better things to do. Again, I got football to worry about. I got college teams that are successful,
yeah,
49ers. So, yeah, sorry, baseball is,
anybody but the
yeah.
Astros. That's all I got. Like, it'd be cool if any of those other 3 teams, anybody but the Astros. Please,
Anyone,
God, no, but the
anyone
Astros.
but the Astros. So yeah, we'll see how that goes and whatnot. But anyways, I think that will do it for tonight's at least episode. We'll probably be back again. Shit, we might do it again next Wednesday because again, at least Monday night, as I mentioned, 49ers and Vikings. So again, I'll watch that game. I know you will watch that as well too, Bryson. So we'll probably plan on next Wednesday night around 8:30 Eastern time, 6:30 Mountain time, to do the podcast again, give a recap of what the weekend was, and talk about any other notes from the sports world. Hell, I might even give a little update on Wyoming high school playoffs as well too, where again I'm keeping an eye on that with my former high school again, still dominating out there in Class 4A in Wyoming. So again, who knows if we'll talk
Nice.
about that. But anyways, that will be it for tonight's episode. Bryson, any other last words? Anything else? Again, Broncos, CU, anything?
No,
Any?
just looking forward to watching. Hopefully it's a little more entertaining this upcoming weekend than it was this past one. But yeah, hopefully everybody that tuned in, you're safe and sound, and have a blessed rest of your week.
I appreciate that. So, with that all being said, again, thanks for everyone coming by, tuning in. Again, thanks for Marie. You want a game? Again, thank you for again chatting with a few others as well too on Twitter. Again, I didn't see those messages as they came through, but I appreciate everyone coming by. Again, if you've not followed me on the Twitter, at least on the Twitch side, very quickly we'll go through all the social medias as I do every single time. Twitch.tv/ProMan56. Follow me on that side. It's completely free. It helps me out. Lets you know when I do go live, whether it is with a sports podcast or again we will go back to again the video games. At least live stream. Again, I do believe that'll be this at least upcoming Friday. Twitter, Broman56. Follow me on that side. For Bryson, it's Bryson Lee 84. Go follow him as well too on Twitter. For YouTube, again, this and along with other at least live streams are uploaded on that side. Proman56MP. Go subscribe there. My vlog channel as well too with Gina. Again, Progoes, Progoez. So many social medias to go through. Again, you can find all that information in my bio, whether it's on Twitter or on Twitch. Go follow, go subscribe, go do all that good stuff. It helps me out, so I appreciate it. Either way, with that all being said, we'll wrap things up. Again, for myself, I'll probably be streaming again this Friday night. Again, we'll get into the video game stream. What game that may be, I have no idea. It might be
I need
Spook.
to start streaming Resident Evil on my Twitch,
See,
man.
and see, that's where I'm again. It's we're almost Halloween time. As much as I'm a baby when it comes to horror games and shit. But again, for Halloween, for again October, I might get into that. Again, I know there's a new Layers of Fear game out there. There's a bunch. Yeah, Resident Evil. Again, I might go play through that again. But yeah, again, you as well too, Bryson. Again, you need to stream on Twitch or again get that play out
I know.
play
I
out
hate
play Outlast
Resident Evil
is said.
games.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll probably play a spooky game coming up on Friday night, so we'll see how that goes. But either way, appreciate everyone coming by. So for now, we will wrap things up and say goodbye. Take care. We will hope to see you again with the sports broadcast again next Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. And again, with myself and Bryson, we'll say goodbye for now. Take care. We'll talk to you all then. Bye-bye.